It was all a dream.
They used to read about it in magazines, was it? I don't know. Welcome back to Futbol Mundial, where myself and my good friend here, Zach, take you through the goings-on in world football.
Today we've got Yaya Toure starting beef with Pep Guardiola again. The first ever green card. It's not that kind of green card. And we take a look at one of the Southern Hemisphere's rising stars and much, much more.
Yeah, a bit of transfer goings-on as well.
The World Cup is just 9 days away and the squad deadline has finally passed. But while the likes of Sane and Morata have been left out of their squads, Nigeria have made a heartwarming gesture to one of their own.
Yes, that's right. Super Eagles keeper Carl Ikeme was sadly diagnosed with leukemia last summer, ruling him out of Wolves' promotion campaign and the World Cup.
But the national team have honoured the stopper by making him their unofficial 24th member for the tournament.
Head coach Gernot Rohr said the keeper's illness was his biggest regret going into the tournament, while Ikeme himself has admitted he is devastated to be missing out on the world's biggest sporting event.
From all of us here at EFD, we wish you all the best with your recovery.
But let's take some attention away from the World Cup for just a moment. Don't worry, just a moment, because right here in London, the Khalifa World Football Cup is in full swing.
That's right, the tournament for unrecognised nations kicked off last Thursday and so far has seen teams such as Punjab, Tibet and Western Armenia battle it out for the ultimate prize.
Ooh, yes, and while it has been great for fans to cheer on their teams when they otherwise wouldn't be able to, they have also witnessed a first for the entire sport, the entire football on the weekend.
That's because during Tuvalu's game against Padania, a player from each side was shown a green card by the referee.
What's that, I hear you ask? Well, the green card is a new concept that is currently being tested, whereby a player is sent off but can be replaced by someone off the bench.
The idea is for referees to feel less pressure to give players their marching orders for things like descent and diving without ruining the balance of the game.
Seems like a decent idea to me, and it seems to have worked quite well so far at the tournament, and there is talk of introducing it in grassroots football. But what do you guys think? Is it a good idea? Is it not? Let us know down below.
And up there, why not?
Yeah.
Now there are a few of you guys asking for it today, so we're hopping over to Ireland for our out of our league section.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry.
you know what? That's not even the worst. That's not even the worst one you've done, and it is atrocious. But anyway, the Ayrshire City Premier League is hotting up nicely, and as it's a summer league, will be in full flow while the rest of us are glued to the World Cup.
Dundalk and Cork City have shared the top two positions for the past 4 seasons, and this campaign has been no different, with Dundalk currently 2 points clear of their 5-2 victory over Shamrock Rovers on Friday.
Yes, their star man has been Patrick Hoban, who returned to the club this year after a 4-year stay in the Football League and has netted 15 goals to make him the division's top scorer.
Cork have a game in hand though, and as the 12 sides have to play each other 3 times over the course of the season, the top 2 still have 2 clashes ahead of them. This will go down to the wire, so keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Top of the morning to you. Oh, God,
Great.
not really that.
Great stuff. Now, if you happen to read France Football magazine, you may well have already seen a controversial new interview with Yaya Toure in which the Manchester City legend has set out to destroy the Pep myth.
Days. The Ivorian has never enjoyed the best relationship with the former Barca boss, but his latest comments have taken things to a new level.
They have indeed. Toure went as far to call the Catalan cruel for the way he's treated him over the past season, and even suggested Pep may have a problem with African players.
They are some pretty big claims, and we're sure Guardiola will have something to say about it. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks to Varan Kumar MG for sending in our next story. While the ISL season is over and India haven't qualified for the World Cup, you'd be forgiven for thinking Indian football is taking a rest.
Yes, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The national team are currently taking part in their own mini tournaments with Chinese Taipei, Kenya and New Zealand.
Ooh,
Titans of the game.
Nice, yeah. But with less than 3,000 turning up to watch the team's latest game in Mumbai, Captain Sunil Chhetri made an impassioned plea to the country's footballing fans on Facebook.
Yes, Chhetri, who won his 100th cap yesterday, alluded to the fact that many Indian supporters follow European clubs first and foremost, and called for more people to show up to the national team's games, even suggesting they take their abuse offline and direct it at them from the stand.
Anything to get from there. But to quote the man directly, he said, "It's not fun to criticise and abuse on the internet. Come to the stadium, scream at us, shout at us." And yeah, do that to me as well.
Yeah,
Come here and say it to my face.
Mate, people be knocking at the door. But what do you think about this, Indian fans? Does your national team get the support it deserves? Hit us up on Twitter with your point of view. And here's a little clip of his plea.
To everyone who's not a football fan, please come and watch us. 2 reasons. Number 1, it's the best game in the world. And number 2, we play for our country.
Now, before we move on to our next section, we've got a bit of breaking news for you guys. There's been a certain Brazilian in Manchester.
Yes, he may already be announced by the time this goes out, but this is breaking news. Like you said, Zach, Fred the Red, as he's now going to be known.
God.
Fred, Brazilian midfielder, Shakhtar Donetsk midfielder, completed his medical at Carrington yesterday ahead of a move to Man United, and he should be signing today a 5-year contract, 60 million euros, according to some sources.
As we said, it could have already been announced by now, and it's understood that he's signing it in Mayfair so he can join up with the Brazil squad in Tottenham as they're training in London currently. But Mikey, that's not the only bit of United transfer gossip that's happening, is it?
No, apparently Diego Dalot as well, the Porto player, could be having his medical in the next 2 days as well. So Mourinho getting that transfer business done before the World Cup starts. And you know what, I'm quite happy because last week, I am quite happy. Well, mainly, I mean, I don't really know that much about the 2 players. If you guys do, especially like Porto fans, Shakhtar fans, let us know in the comments below, or just let me know on Twitter.
Fellaini, though. He's up to Arsenal, isn't he?
Apparently so, yeah. Apparently Arsenal are looking at Fellaini. So happy days even more. We're getting in a technically gifted midfielder and getting rid of, just an absolute liability. So, I actually don't mind Fellaini that much, but he's just not, he's not the one. He's not the one. And, it's just great to see Arsenal getting rid of, one of their long-term managers and Fellaini being their first transfer, a la David Moyes. So, yeah, good stuff. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks to soccer videos, vlogs, and loads more Tekker's suggestion.
What a name, that
Go
is
and
the
subscribe
plug.
to him, apparently. But yeah, we're taking a look at Australia's Daniel Arzani for this week's One to Watch.
The 19-year-old has enjoyed his first full season at Melbourne City, getting into the A-League Team of the Season, and has been further awarded with a spot in the Socceroos World Cup squad.
Ooh, nice one, mate. Up until recently, Arzani was also subject to interest from the Iranian national setup, as he'd lived in the West Asian state until he was 7. But this year, he committed his future to the country where he learned his trade.
Apparently, as a kid, he also wanted to be a neurosurgeon, but instead of making incisions into the brain, he now makes incisions into the box with his speedy dribbling.
Yeah, mate.
And also has an eye for a killer final ball.
Yes, he does indeed. Australia's very own Leroy Sané will have to wait for his opportunity off the bench in Russia, but we have no doubt you'll be hearing this guy's name a lot more in the next 12 months.
But who should we cover next week? Let us know down in the comments below with the hashtag #OneToWatch. So that's another episode of Futbol Mundial over for another week, unfortunately. Make sure you're hitting us up on Instagram. The handles are right here. We had a good weekend, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Luckily, all the stories are
gone by
dead
now. But
I was pretty drunk.
All I'm saying is I'll do like a little split section of Michael right now. But anyway, Michael, what should they go do now?
They should go to Stat Wars The Champions from the weekend. Myself versus Joe in the Losers Edition. Really low on quality, but very, very entertaining. George did a sterling job on the edit. Also, our hot takes over on FD Saturday. And yeah, just stay tuned for all our World Cup content as well. We're going to be doing some interesting stuff over the next couple of weeks. In the build-up, 9 days to go, exciting stuff. And yeah, I think that's about it, isn't it? So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that notification button down there so you know when the next Futbol Mundial is coming up. And yeah.
My hand's been in. Just say bye.
Bye.